He did not have a political flair, but he compensated it by his enormous capital. He dreamed of a military leader's fame, but his victory was ascribed to another man. He tried to win people's love, but only got the nickname Dives, rich, in Latin. Nevertheless, Marcus Licinius Crassus went down in history not only as a rich man, but also as the conqueror of rebellious Spartacus. Marcus Licinius Crassus was born in a noble Roman family in 115 BC. The boy was not notable for his good memory and love for knowledge among the children of his age, but his diligence and persistence distinguished him. At a very early age, he showed brilliant abilities of a businessman who was able to get benefit from everything. Young Marcus managed commercial operations much easier than public speeches that were necessary to begin a political career. Crassus rented land, took part in commercial campaigns, bought slaves to teach them trade and science, and then to sell them at much higher price. Thus his fortune was growing gradually. Later, Marcus Licinius began to be recognized in the street. His name was more and more often mentioned by merchants and traders, but the door to politics still remained closed for him. In 83 BC, the outlaw commander Sulla unleashed one of the bloodiest civil wars in the history of the Roman Empire. Sulla's army was advancing on Rome. Like other rich Romans, the businessman Marcus Licinius Crassus resolutely took the side of the rebellious Sulla. Crassus used his money to equip the whole army that consisted of 2,500 soldiers. Marcus Licinius's gold was spent for swords, shields, spears, bows, and arrows. Crassus's calculations proved to be right. He found himself on the winning side. After the capitulation of Rome, Sulla, who took power there, generously rewarded Marcus Crassus. In addition to it, Crassus increased his fortune considerably by confiscating or buying the property of the unhappy people at the auction for a song. These people had been included in the proscription lists under order from Sulla and had become victims of terror. Thus Marcus Crassus became incredibly rich. To win people's love, Crassus once organized a meal for the Romans, having ordered to set 10,000 tables. Although the Romans glorified Crassus, nicknamed the Rich, Marcus Licinius dreamed of military feats and a military leader fame. In 73 BC, during Spartacus' slave revolt in ancient Rome, Marcus Licinius Crassus decided that his time had come and he would be able to realize his ambition and attain fame in the battle. After receiving the Senate consent, Crassus led 2 of his legions toward Spartacus's troops. But in the first battle with the rebels, the Romans were defeated, and Crassus's reputation was endangered. But he wasn't about to lose. In order to inspire his army, Crassus employed the ancient ruthless tactic of decimation. He ordered to execute every 10th soldier. His cruelty proved to be effective. Under Crassus' order, the legionnaires dug a deep ditch 55 kilometers long and banked it up from behind. This fortification line blocked Spartacus's army on the Bruttian Peninsula, pressing them to the Mediterranean coastline. And though Spartacus was able to get out of the Bruttian trap, Crassus suppressed the slave revolt when he won the decisive battle in Apulia in 71 BC. But Crassus had to share the winner's laurels with the military leader Pompey, who defeated the remnants of Spartacus's army and cruelly punished the captives. Nevertheless, the Spartacus revolt suppression made Marcus Licinius Crassus much more popular. In 70 BC and then in 55 BC, he was elected as consul for a year. But the rich Crassus couldn't win the love and support of the people, and it was impossible for him to rule the political Olympus alone. So he began to support young Gaius Julius Caesar, who was craving for power. To ensure Caesar's victory in the election, Crassus and Pompey formed an alliance with him. Thus, 3 most powerful men in the country formed a triumvirate in 60 BC and began to rule over Rome. This alliance of power, intellect, and gold united Pompey's power, Caesar's wisdom, and Crassus's wealth. Marcus Crassus received Syria as his province. It gave him new possibilities to enlarge his wealth. Besides, Crassus was longing for the treasures of the Parthian Empire, a powerful state that spread from the Persian Gulf to the Caspian Sea. Parthia seemed an easy target for him. Many people tried to persuade the 60-year-old commander not to make hasty and ill-considered steps, but Crassus launched the war against the Parthians in 54 BC. In one of the first battles, Publius, Crassus's son, was killed. The Parthian War became fatal for Crassus as well. According to the historian Plutarch, Marcus Licinius Crassus was killed at the Battle of Carrhae in Mesopotamia on the 6th of May, 53 BC. The commander's cut head and hand were sent to the Parthian king. There is a story that the winners poured molten gold down Crassus' throat to satisfy his thirst for wealth after his death once and for all.